Hello and welcome to the Crafted Pearl podcast. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as the Crafted Pearl, and you can contact me through Instagram messages. I don't check Ravelry very much, but you can message me there, or you can email me at thecraftedpearl@gmail.com. All the links where you can find me will be in the bar below. So let's get started. Thing that we're going to talk about today are some WIPs, some things that I frogged, and some things that I've put in hibernation. So let's start with our current WIPs. I am currently working on the What Tomorrow Brings shawl by Stephanie Lotman. I'm doing this as a part of the Adventually Mal. If you hear my ear running, it just turned on. As part of the Adventually Mal. Last time I podcasted, I forgot to tell you, it's in a bag by Paper Crane Yarns. Ashley is the owner of my local yarn store. So last time that I podcast, I was on this section right here. So that's a marker from last time where I podcast. So I finished the rest of this section. Then I went to pick up stitches to start the second part of the shawl. I got a little frustrated because there is a clear center point of the shawl. And I mean, this won't give the pattern away, but I think you had to pick up like 204 stitches. And she did a great video tutorial. Stephanie did a great video tutorial showing you how to pick up those stitches. And how to count and make sure you had enough. Sometimes you could add some if you needed, take some away. And I did all of that. I picked all of those up. And when I went to start my make one lefts and make one rights for my increases right there in the middle, and it wasn't lining up with the point. It's still not perfect, but it is much better than it was before. I ended up ripping it out. That second portion, I ripped it out twice before I finally just took the number of stitches that I needed, divided it in half, and started counting from the center back one way and the center back the other. And it's not perfect, but I do like it a lot better than where I had it before. So I added the rest of this section right here, and then I have 3 sections done on the second part of the shawl. I haven't really worked on this that much lately. It just hasn't really been something that I have been drawn to. So I'm trying to knit on things that bring me joy, things that I'm naturally drawn to that day. So I do want to pick this up again and get it finished. I believe the Adventually Mal ends at the end of March. So I do want to get this finished in order to have a finished object to submit for that Mal. The second thing that is a work in progress for me, I had not cast this on last time I podcast, but I told you guys about the Sheldon sheep pattern that I purchased as a kit from Arkansas Yarn Co. And it is a pattern. The pattern is from Universal Yarn. I'm gonna see if I can show you a picture. So it's Sheldon and Friends. And this is a stuffed animal, sheep, amigurumi, I guess that's what you call it. This is the first time I have made any type of stuffed animal or toy or anything like that. So I had not cast this on last time I podcast, but I did finish up the body. I'm wondering if it's gonna be a little bit bigger than I anticipated. I crochet really, really tight. And I actually went up a hook size and ended up running out of yarn and having to order more for the head portion of the sheep. So I ran out there and I ended up ordering more. I ordered one more skein of the cream color and one more skein of the black just to make sure I had enough. I'm gonna kind of squish them around, move them around a little bit. This is for my youngest son who we are adopting. I want to have something when we travel to bring him home that he can have as just like something tangible to hold on to when we are traveling. So I was excited to get the body done, and now that my yarn has come in, I will be able to finish the hat part or the head part, and then start knitting the head and the arms and the legs and get those attached. I'm excited to see how this comes together. I'm a little anxious because I've never made something like this before, but I'm excited to try it. In 2023 is all about trying all the new things and being confident in our creativity. So that is what I am doing. And this is in a bag that I purchased from Stitching the High Notes. I had to look inside. It's been so long since I used it. This is Stitching the High Notes. It's a little honeycomb bag. And it's really the perfect fit for that project. So that's WIP number 2. WIP number 3 is a current cast-on. I would say a current cast-on, a current swatch. So WIP number 3 is a current swatch, and I finished my second swatch today and measured, and I'm planning to cast it on this afternoon after I finish podcasting. So the pattern that I am making, this is for a friend of mine at church. She's having a little girl. So I am making the ruffle dress by Knitting for Olive. I'm going to be making the sleeveless version in the 12 to 18 months. A lot of people, when they give baby gifts, give smaller sizes. But when I had my babies, I needed clothes for when they were bigger. I didn't really have that many. So I like to either make or buy clothing that's in maybe a 12 to 18 months and up size, so the parents have something that they can have when the kids get a little bit older, so they're not running out of all the cute clothes when they're little. So I swatched with the recommended needle size. It recommends swatching with a 3mm, a US 2.5. I did a US 2.75 size 2 needle, and I got a really tight gauge. The yarn that I'm using is Paper Crane Yarns. It's her sock base in the colorway Winter Candy, and I'll show you guys a hank of that, and then or a cake of that rather, and then a skein of it. This is the cake. It's very pretty. It's got purples and blues and pinks in it. So this is the first swatch that I did with a US 2.75, or US 2, excuse me, 2.75mm. I ended up getting 32 stitches per 4 inches for my stitch gauge and 39 rows per 4 inches for my row gauge. I was 4 stitches too much for my stitch gauge, and I was like 1 row too short for my row gauge. The row gauge I'm not too worried about because I can always add a little more length. The stitch gauge, however, concerned me because I did not want it to be, I didn't want it to be too small. So I did another swatch. I kind of did a cheat swatch. I only did the 2 inches this time, but I did cast on another swatch yesterday. And I did this swatch with a US 3, which is a 3.25mm. I am a tight knitter and a tight crocheter. It's a little loosey-goosey. I could probably tighten it up some more when I am knitting. And I'm not gonna block it really heavy when I'm finished because it's not really something that needs to be blocked or stretched. I'm just gonna soak it and then let it out, lay it out and let the stitches kind of fall into their natural pattern, things like that. I'm not gonna pull it and pin it or anything. But I did get 27 stitches per 4 inches for my stitch gauge and 38 rows per 4 inches for my row gauge. I'm going to go with the size 3 needle because I would rather have just 1 stitch shy of what I needed for my stitch gauge. I think I'm gonna be able to work that out better, and I do like the fabric better. So you can compare the two. That's the first one, and then that's the second one. The stitches are a little more defined on the second one. It's just a very tight fabric on the first one. So that is going to be cast on today. So that's a current WIP, as in I have swatched and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna get that cast on this afternoon. And I am currently working on the Midwest Dishcloths by Truly Crochet Designs. I have a friend who ordered 7 of these from me. You've seen them on my Instagram before. They're really pretty, like basket weave pattern. She wanted 7 of these, 1 for every day of the week. And I'm using Knit Picks Dishy. And sorry, something just fell downstairs. I'm using Knit Picks Dishy. I believe the colorway is Eggplant. It's the darkest purple that they have. She ordered 1 for each day of the week. I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, so I have 3 more to make. Each one takes me, if I work on it a little bit here and there, it'll take me about an entire day to do it. It'll take me a couple hours if I sit down and just concentrate on that and don't do anything else. Really haven't had the time to do that lately, but I'm going to try to knock those out today and tomorrow as well. So those are all of my WIPs. I did frog my Lazy Sunday State of Mind sweater that I showed you last podcast. It was going to be too many sizes too big for me, and I just really didn't enjoy working on it, and I wanted to use the yarn for something else. So I frogged that, and it is in my bag. The yarn is already pulled for whatever sweater that I decide to use next. I really haven't decided which one I'm gonna do, but the yarn is ready whenever I am ready. I'm excited about that. I did hibernate 2 projects. I decided to hibernate the Frank shawl that I was working on by Joji Locatelli. Because I'm already working on the What Tomorrow Brings shawl, I didn't want to add in another shawl right now. It was just too much for my brain to kind of balance and handle. So I hibernated that, I've got it set aside, and when I finish the What Tomorrow Brings shawl, I'll pull that one back out and pick that back up again. I also hibernated the Choose Your Gnome Adventure, which is a pattern by Sarah Shira of Imagine Landscapes. I decided to hibernate that one because I am working on the Sheldon sheep, and I didn't want more than one amigurumi or any type of stuffed animal thing going at one time. So those 2 things are hibernated until I get the Sheldon sheep and the What Tomorrow Brings shawl completed. And then I'll bring those back out and add them back into my WIP count. Okay, let's talk finished objects, FOs. Last time I was working on my String of Light socks, which is a pattern by Lindsay of Sock Witchery, and I was using Night Owl Fibers sock base in her Cookies for Santa colorway. I started these early in December and didn't get them finished, but they are finished now. I finished those at the beginning of January. They're a little stretched out and dirty because I have worn them multiple times. They are so comfortable. Night Owl Fibers yarn is just so soft and it just wears so well. So these are just on some sock blockers that I ordered from Amazon. And yeah, a finished object for those, and I'm gonna add those back into my winter sock pile, and hopefully it will be cold enough here again soon to wear those. So that is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, I have 1 of them here with me today, and it's slightly dirty. My other daughters could not find their fidget toy that I made them, but I made the Pea Pod Marble Fidget Toy by Shayna Lines Designs. This is a great way to use up scrap yarn. This is some fingering weight scrap yarn that I actually had left over from, I believe it was Advent last year. So this is a design that Shayna has, and it is, just looks like a little pea pod, but inside, they spilled juice on it. Inside, there is a marble, and you can run that marble up and then back down again. It's a loop at the top, so you can just put it on your finger, and if you need to keep it in your lap during class or something like that. It's a great way to kind of get out some of those nerves and fidget without making a lot of noise. My oldest daughter uses this a lot at school. She used to have some like snap fidgets. She has a ton of fidgets. My girls are into all kinds of fidgets. but she really likes this one because it's quiet, and her teacher allows her to have this one in school because it doesn't make any noise. And it's very, it's an interesting texture to it, especially with the marble on the inside. I first heard about this on Aquila's podcast, a Lefty Knitter podcast, and I went to Shayna's Ravelry page, and she has so many fidget patterns. My daughters loved these. I've had some friends request these for their kiddos that I need to start on those. And then I want to try some of her other fidget patterns to test those out too. So this is the Pea Pod Marble Fidget Toy by Shayna Lyons Designs. I also finished 2 more washcloths this month. I already showed you those washcloths. So I've been working on those as diligently as possible. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. So future cast-ons. I had mentioned in the previous podcast that for my birthday sweater, I was going to cast on a love note. The weather in Alabama is crazy. Those of you who live anywhere in the South know that the weather changes at a moment's notice. In April, it could be 2 feet of snow. It could be 80 degrees in December for Christmas. It's just all over the place. I do want to cast on a love note. The issue I have with that is the mohair that's in it is going to be incredibly hot for that time of year. I didn't want something that I would just wear the day of my birthday and then not wear anymore until the winter time. So I went through kind of my patterns on Ravelry and the yarn that I had, and I wanted to cast on a rocket tee, and that's by Tanis of Tanis Fiber Arts. So that's going to be my birthday sweater now, is the rocket tee. And I have yarn that I bought when I was in Arkansas for the yarn crawl. I bought this at Knit Unto Others. I bought 2 skeins of the Dream in Color yarn and the Smushy Cashmere. And this is the Galaxy colorway. There's a lot of blue and purples. It's showing pretty true to color. So I have 2 skeins of that. And then I also purchased a skein of yarn from Colored by Christy, which is one of their local dyers in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. And this is her sparkly sock base, and it is in the colorway 80s Skating Party. So I'm an 80s kid, 80s baby. So I loved this. I'm gonna pair this together and make a rocket tee. So I'm excited to swatch for that and get that cast on soon, so I will have it ready for my birthday. I have about a month to get that done. It's a short sleeve sweater, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to kind of zip through that since I don't have sleeves. But if I don't, it's okay. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna sweat it. This year is the year of not sweating the small things. Knit what you love, knit the speed you want to knit, and enjoy it. The second thing that I have as a future cast on is a pair of rye socks. And I'm gonna post a picture of those right here. It is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's one of their free patterns. They have the rye socks and they have the rye light socks, which is a fingering weight pattern. The rye socks are made for DK and worsted, sport weight and up. So I'm gonna actually use that pattern to cast on a pair of socks for my daughter Harper. She has requested a pair of socks, and I found the perfect yarn, which I will show you guys in just a little bit for her socks. So that is my next future cast on, and I am excited to make those for her because she loves anything that I make her. She is very, very knit worthy, make worthy, and I'm excited to get those started for her. It'll be great for me to have on the go because it is a very easy patterned sock. So if you ever wanted to start out and try a patterned sock, the rye light or the rye socks is a perfect way to go. They have babies all the way up to adult sizes, and she picked that pattern out and really likes it, and I'm excited to make that for her. Now it's time for a stash update. Last podcast, I mentioned that my goal this year is to work from stash. Some people want to eliminate their stash completely, which I think is fantastic. If that's what you want to do, that's really, really good. My goal is to just use more of what I have in my stash before I go out and purchase yarn. So look at what I have back here. So I have all of my yarn back here. I'm trying a new setup. You guys let me know down below if you like it or not. This is a little more comfortable for me, but I wanted to show you guys, this is all of my stash. I have all of my fingering weights up here at the top, and then I have my bulky and worsted weights over there, and then I have some more fingering weight down there. I have a lot of fingering weight yarn. I have a couple of sweater quantities that I want to use, a lot of single skeins. So I buy those a lot of times if I go to a show or I go to like the yarn crawl and the store has a special skein for that particular event. I will buy a single skein for socks. I have a lot of those. But my goal this year is to use my stash more. Go to my stash first before I order more yarn. And that's really, really hard for me because I see all this beautiful yarn that's online, on Instagram, people are sharing through podcasts, and I think, oh, I can make this with that yarn. Or I can make, I know I can order that and I can make a sweater with that. And I go and order that yarn and I add it in here and I never do it. So I am going to shop my stash first, and I'm also going to shop patterns that I have on Ravelry first as well. I love supporting designers, and sometimes if it's a designer that I'm very familiar with and we are connected through Instagram, I will buy their pattern when it first comes out just as a support. I always favorite the pattern. That helps designers on Ravelry. It helps push it to the top of the Hot Now page. I will also add it to my queue and put it in my library in like my future Cast-Ons tab that I'm gonna do, but I'm trying not to purchase the actual pattern until I get ready to knit it because I have a lot of patterns sitting in there that I've paid for and haven't used yet. So January, the beginning of the year, I counted all of my yarn. So I have just this little notebook here. It's all scratched out. It's not anything that I'm planning on keeping nice and neat. It's just notes for me to keep track of my stash. So at the beginning of the year, I started with a total number of skeins of 159. So 28 of those were acrylic yarn. Cotton yarn, there was 35 plus 1 cone of yarn. I had 2 skeins of worsted weight, 1 skein of bulky, 8 DK weight skeins, 64 fingering weight, and 20 minis that were also fingering weight. So 159 skeins of yarn to start the year. When January came around, I had lots of WIPs going in, so I focused on those WIPs. Therefore, I did not cast on new projects, so I did not have any yarn come out. I did, however, have yarn come in, and I'm gonna show that to you soon. So when I counted my skeins at the end of January for my February numbers, I started out February with a total of 176 skeins. So that is plus 16 up from January. I'm totally fine with that. It doesn't bother me at all. I love every bit of it that I've gotten. I've gotten, so far this month, 1 fingering weight skein and 2 bulky, and I've taken 2 acrylic skeins and 1 fingering weight out. So I'm excited to see the rest of the month, although it is a shorter month and we're closer to the end of that month, how many things I pull out. As soon as I pull yarn out and cake it up for a project, I immediately take it out of stash. May have some left over at the end, but it's out of my stash once I pull it out for the project. So started February with 176 skeins of yarn, and we will see at the beginning of March where I ended up. I have some acquisitions to show you. Not all of them are yarn. One of them is even related to a new craft, which I'm excited to share with you guys today. I mentioned that I wanted to try Tunisian crochet. I couldn't think, my brain went blank. And my friend Jennifer, who is Threadhead Fiber Arts, I'll put her link to her Instagram down below. She is my sister from another mister in Arkansas, the two Jens, and she messaged me and said that she had a set of Tunisian crochet hooks that she had purchased and she did not use. And she gifted those to me. So, came in this really pretty gold case. And on the inside, came with the Tunisian crochet hooks. So it's crochet hook on one end and then it connects like a knitting needle to a cord on the other. And there's room for you to add bigger sizes on the back, and it came with all the cords and all that stuff in there. So thank you, Jen. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to try that soon. Adding those to my collection of knitting and crochet tools. That's the first thing that I have as an acquisition. The second thing was also a gift from my friend Lindsay. Lindsay is, she also has a podcast. If you have not checked out her podcast, and I will go ahead and link that below. She and I are going to do a pattern sock together. She probably has already cast it on. We have talked about multiple times going ahead and starting this, and it just hasn't happened. So this is the yarn that she sent me. I don't remember the names of the colorways. They're both from Arkansas Yarn Co. And she got 2 100-gram skeins and she split them. So we each got 50. And it's a colorwork sock. It's gonna be my first colorwork sock. And I'm really excited to try it out. So I will get the names of the yarn from her and put those down below. So you guys can go and purchase those from Lori, Jess, and Anna. My next acquisition, or gift rather, is some fiber. My friend Michelle, who lives in Texas, she is a knitter and crocheter, and she saw that I had received my drop spindle for Christmas, and she knows how much I love the color purple, so she mailed me some beautiful, beautiful 100% merino combed top fiber in the periwinkle colorway. And this is from Park Avenue Yarns, spinning and felting fiber. So I'm excited to use that. I'm gonna save this for when I get better at spinning. I haven't even started yet, y'all. There's so many things I wanna do. There's just not enough time in the day. I'm gonna save this for when I feel like I've kind of got a handle on how to spin. And I'll make something really special out of this. So those were all, those were all gifts that I received. I also ordered, pardon the crinkle, 2 skeins of wedding cake, the colorway wedding cake from Arkansas Yarn Co. It's on her Yummy High Twist. Let's see if I can get up there. Yeah, you see that texture? You know, I love her Yummy High Twist. I received my my Sock Yarn Society box every single month, and I get the base for the Sock Yarn Society Club. I use the Yummy High Twist base, and I wanted to use the pattern that came in January's box, which is a chevron blanket by my friend Christy. And so I needed 2 skeins of the wedding cake, so I ordered those, and those came in. And then this month, grab that. This month's colorway for February is Let's Give Them Something to Talk About. Very pretty blues and purples, pinks. Lori is the queen of speckles, y'all. I love it. So this is on her Yummy High Twist, and it is 8515. Superwash merino and nylon, 394 yards to 100 grams. So I will be holding this and this together for the blanket, and I'll be adding a different color every single month. I've not started that yet, but I do want to add that on as a crochet project. I want more crochet projects in my WIP count this month because I've really been drawn to crochet more than knitting lately, just because I haven't done it in a while. So I'm excited to add that in. So that is the Sock Yarn Society colorway for February. In the box, I also received some yummy chocolate. I've already eaten it, so it's not here anymore. I ate it the day that I got it in the mail. A handmade clay heart magnet by Charity Elise Designs. A very pretty yellow color. So I just have it up here on the on my little desk. It's magnetized. There was a Dove milk chocolate heart. I already ate that. There's some Conversation heart candies. And my daughter is asking for those. A Conversation heart stitch marker. Let's see where it went. Did it disappear on me? Ah, here we go. A Conversation heart stitch marker. Turn this around for you. It says Be Mine. And then an Arkansas stitch marker that's resin. Lori makes these in-house, and it has the Conversation hearts on the inside. Let's see if that'll pick that up. Maybe not, because it's clear. She always sends those. And I have also some tea that came in there. Some stash tea. I'm collecting, I'm getting quite the collection of that. I'm excited. And then a sticker. Sock Yarn Society sticker that I'm going to put on my my cup. I have lots of stickers on my cup, so I'm going to add that to my collection. But wanted to save and show it to you guys first. I forgot to mention my friend Michelle, who sent the fiber, also sent me some stitch markers. She makes her own stitch markers. And she sent some beautiful stitch markers my way. So there's little tassels. She knows how much I love purple. There's little tassels. There's blue and purple tassels. There's a bumblebee in there. There is crystal. There's just all kinds of beautiful, beautiful stitch markers. So she made those for me. Thank you, Michelle. I love them. She included that with my fiber, which was my Christmas gift from her. I mentioned earlier with Sheldon the sheep, I had to order more yarn. You've seen this before. It's just the bulky yarn from Universal Yarn to finish off my Sheldon sheep. I purchased from Paper Crane Yarns last time that I was there, which was in January. Purchased a few things, and I'm excited to share those with you guys. My desk is filling up, y'all. I love it. I love it. I love it. The first thing that I purchased was something that she was very excited to finally have in her shop. The Twice Sheared Sheep Sock Ruler. I don't know if you can see that or not. So it's a sock ruler that has, I had it upside down, US shoe sizes. It has men on this side, women and kids on this side. And what you do is you put this into your heel, and it will tell you if I wanted to knit a kid's size 8 shoe, if I put this portion in my heel and I want to make sure that my foot is long enough before I start my toe decreases, then my foot will stop right here at the kid's size 8. Same for women and same for men. This is so cool. It only came in an Advent. I don't know if Twice Sheared Sheep did an Advent or not, but it came in an Advent bundle that someone did, and she made these available to purchase, and she actually snagged them, and I grabbed one for me and one for a friend, and I'm so excited to use these. The best part, those of us who are 80s and 90s babies, slap bracelet. You can wear it on your wrist and take it when you need it. I have the sock ruler, the original sock ruler that I usually keep with me, but it's gotten bent over time. just because I've had it in bags. So this is really neat. I'm excited to have this as an easy way to carry things with me and measure the length that I need for socks and not have to constantly look up how many inches do I need to get to if I need a women's size 9. I have the list of shoe sizes by inches that Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady posts on her videos, and that has been very helpful, but this is going to be a game changer for my sock knitting, so I don't have to constantly be looking that up whenever I need it. I also purchased this adorable gnome tin, which is also a twice sheared sheep. I say that right, twice sheared sheep. And it just slides, the top slides off, look. It's so simple and me, there we go. It slides off. And then I purchased some more of their hexagon stitch markers. I love these. They came in something that I bought one time. It might have been an Arkansas Yarn Co. Sock Yarn Society, but I love them. So I purchased some more of those. I purchased the Winter Candy colorway from Paper Crane that I showed you earlier for the ruffle dress. So this is it in the skein and this is it in the cake. It's beautiful. Ashley does a fantastic job with her yarn. So this is 75/25 and it's 462 yards for 100 grams. And this is in her sock fingering. And she does have these as well as so many others available online. She just restocked her shop and there are so many new options there. So if you haven't checked out her shop, if you live in Alabama, live close to her store, go visit. She's the greatest. I love going and hanging out with her. If not, I'll put her website below. She ships and she would be more than happy to help you pick out the yarn that you need. I also purchased another one of her colorways called Space Cat. And this is 100% superwash merino, 220 yards for 100 grams. This is worsted weight. And I'm going to make Harper socks out of these. Or out of this, rather. It's so pretty. Harper loves purples and blues just like her mama. That is it for fiber acquisitions. I have a new craft that I have started. I'm excited to tell you guys about. I posted about it before in my stories, but if you haven't seen, I have decided to try diamond painting. Several of you have mentioned that you also like to diamond paint. I love to cross stitch, and it is like cross stitch without having to deal with all of the thread and everything like that. So I'll put a picture here of the kit that I ordered and link it below on Amazon. I love the Golden Girls, so of course that's the first thing that I had to get was a Golden Girls diamond painting. It's a decent size, but it's still on the smaller end. I wanted to try a smaller project first to make sure that I liked it before I invested a lot of money into it. And I'll also insert a picture here of my progress so far. I'm working in small sections so I can come upstairs when I have a few minutes every day and just do a little bit at a time. And it's very relaxing. I have a lot of anxiety and that really helps calm me down. My daughter Riley loves diamond painting as well. She has some smaller diamond paintings that we purchased for her for Christmas. And she is on her 3rd out of 4th one right now and she loves those. We're gonna frame those and put those in her room when she's finished. So I purchased that and then I needed to be organized. It comes with all the little bags and things like that that you can organize your diamonds with. But then I had to just go a little extra because I am extra sometimes. I follow CJ, who is on TikTok. She is Smells Like Bad Decisions and she diamond paints. And she suggested this kit from Amazon. So I jumped on it because she is the queen of diamond painting. So it's a little briefcase. You open it up and there are little jars where you can put your diamonds for the diamond painting. So I have the colors and everything labeled on the top, what number they are, and then that way I know based on the symbol on the diamond painting what color I need. I can go pick it out. and everything is just really nice and neat and organized. And then it comes with all of the tools that you would need for diamond painting, your trays, the placer for the diamonds, all kinds of stuff. So it's a perfect little kit to start out diamond painting. It's like $20, I think, but this is one of my new craft acquisitions for this month. And that wraps up all of the acquisitions. Compared to what I normally buy, I really haven't purchased that much this month. Some gifts, a couple of new things, and a new craft. So I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, it's time for a life update. As you've noticed, I did not make my 2-week return mark on my podcast schedule. And January was a very challenging month for my family, for me personally as well. And I just decided I'm not gonna sweat it. That's just kind of my theme for this year. I can't spend my time worrying about things. And in the long run, they're fun. I love podcasting. I love being with you guys, but it's okay if I don't stay on a certain schedule and can podcast when I can. And I want to podcast every 2 weeks. That's still my goal. But if I don't make it, I'm not going to give myself a lot of grief about that. I'm going to extend the grace that I give to other people to myself as well. So January was a little crazy. My daughter celebrated her 10th birthday, Riley. You guys have seen her on past Vlogmas episodes. She's my oldest daughter. She celebrated her 10th birthday. We had some sickness in our family. Life got really busy and I just didn't have time to do as much as I normally do. And I've been able to spend more time with my sister lately. She had surgery, so I've been kind of hanging out with her some during the day. She's doing great, and we get to spend extra time together, which I love. I love spending time with her anytime, but extra time that we get to spend together is so much fun. So I've been hanging out with her some, volunteering at the kids' school, which I really love. That's one of the main reasons why I decided not to return to the classroom this year, was because I wanted to be able to spend time at their school, helping out, volunteering, and getting to know some more of the parents as well as the other students. And it's really been a lot of fun. I recently volunteered at the popcorn and PJs day that they have. So you can pay $1. It's a fundraiser for their PTO. You can pay $1 to wear your pajamas and $1 for a bag of popcorn. And I helped pop and bag up the popcorn. And I think we probably popped and bagged maybe 800 bags of popcorn that day. And if I never smell popcorn again, I think I'm gonna be okay. We went to the movies yesterday as a family to see Puss in Boots, and the smell of the popcorn was just like, it brought back that day of bagging up and popping 800 bags of popcorn is what it felt like. So it was a lot of fun. I got to spend time with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while we were working together. And I really just enjoy being there and getting to see my kids throughout the day as they come and go in the hallway. And just really been enjoying doing that. I've been enjoying spending time with John. He works from home some during the week, so there are days that we are home together and we get to go and eat lunch and spend time together. We just enjoy talking to each other without having interruptions from kids, because our kids are important to us, and when they're home, they are our focus. So we do enjoy spending time together when we can, and going out on those little dates during the day that we haven't had time to do lately. But that's pretty much it for me today. I am excited to go ahead and start casting on the new project that I have this afternoon. I'm gonna get everything cleaned up here and go make myself a cup of coffee and see what all I can get into this afternoon. I may do some diamond painting, definitely gonna do some knitting. I really appreciate you joining me today. Thank you to everyone who's a returning viewer. If you are new here, I'm so happy to have you here in our community. Please make sure that you subscribe. You can subscribe here, as well as follow me on Instagram. I would love it if you did that as well. And if you want to have notifications of when I post a new episode, just hit the little bell up above and it will notify you when I post a new episode. So until next time, friends, happy knitting, happy crafting, and I'll see you then. Bye.